Okay, it's day 336, and before I say much more, I'm just going to say all this has been done before with Mina Investments in the Safa saga. So you can look up that case, November 20th, Eastern District of New York, 2001. All these same families, Misra, Abbas, Awan, Alvi family in Northern Virginia, doing what we're describing, which is compromising people, banking, laundering money, shipping stuff, running stuff, enforcing the networks, etc. So everything I've already to say is old news if you read the paper. So, or go back to the lawsuit files. Sorry about the computer. So I'm going to stick with the paper timeline here. But every day, this has been throughout this whole story. Every day, the crowdsourced version, or my version with my contributors, I guess I should say. I'm not involved with crowdsource the truth in any way. Gets better and better, gets more detailed. Whereas the every once in a while, the other side, the prosecution, which is acting as the defense in this case, will put out a version, a very sketchy version on the other side. Now, I talked yesterday about, of course, the big news last night was the beating story. You know, Imran had these 3 different houses, and he was beating these 3 different women in these 3 different houses. And the way they do it with Luke is they always give him a piece of the evidence. He never meets with anybody in person, I don't think. Otherwise, he would state that. And I've found time and time again, these are fake people. So they're giving out enough information because they know investigators are seeing these police reports, and then they're trying to spin the different police reports. There's going to be lots of them, and we're just at the start. So the key here is, are they housekeepers / madams, or are they wives? I think they're going to try to spin it toward wives, which I believe they're housekeepers / madams, and I'll get to that. But just some things that have happened since the last time I did a timeline was between Faisalabad and Lahore, there's all this information coming out about this city that's right there in between. And I'm just going to say right now, all the family and all the people involved in this particular story, these Awans here and all of these and so forth, are going to be coming from a very small town. This reminds me of a lot of the Godfather, because a lot of the people in New York with all the crime families came from a little small town in Sicily, which was Corleone, and they named him after the city. And much like that story, Corleone coming to New York and creating this big crime family, this is just basically a redo in Northern Virginia of The Godfather in New York. It's the CIA's version, but it's basically just a redo of The Godfather, okay, in New York. Instead of being a Sicilian town where all these people come, it comes from a little town in between Faisalabad and Lahore here. The other thing is this, and then I'm going to back away a little bit away from the whole Freitag situation, but that is the key to the case. I just say for everyone, and I do believe that they, people are talking about, hey, I mentioned Edison High School. Hey, the technical school didn't start until 2004. Well, I know the technical school didn't start until 2004, but the high school started in '62. The high school is where the recruiting is happening, no doubt about it. The recruiting for the bait, for the honey traps, as well as the males and the females. The females are more going to be your operatives. They're going to be your wheelmen. They're going to be your runners, your enforcers, that sort of thing. The guys do that exciting stuff, and then the women get to be the bait. Sorry about that. It's very sexist. See, that's why I like these different stories where the women get to be the spies. But anyway, and they are in some cases here. The housekeepers in this scenario are going to be the spies going through people's stuff. And Imran obviously runs a housekeeping service as well. Again, he could not be doing all these things himself. He has help, and not just one person. This is going to be a group of people. Okay, so anyway, Northern Community College. I'm going to say a different name now, and I'm deliberately making a mistake to protect the person's identity, but I'm saying La Quaya is a good example. It goes to Northern Virginia Community College. This is where these people are getting recruited. They're being brought to these homes. Now, the first, I'll go through that a little bit more. But you can see here, the prosecution, which is acting as the defense, hasn't added anything since the Washington Post article. No, just insults. to me from the different writers and so forth. No additional details, even though I'm the Washington Post, I have a huge staff of people that can, research these things, put these fact checks out. I've got a whole rooms full of fact checkers. Nothing. Zippo, bupkis, as Lionel would say. Okay, so I am, the birth certificate for Hina Alvi came out yesterday. It said, oh, hey, he married Imran in 2005. She married Imran, in 2005. I'm not saying he didn't marry her in 2005. What I'm saying is he met Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2004, if not sooner. I believe it was sooner in this period of Inter-American, when she was still a state representative, I believe, in Florida. And she was in a key district that needed to be compromised. So I'll just leave that for right there. And I'm staying with this, which is, as far as Capitol Hill goes, these are fake people. Now, outside of that, I can bring in other people to take on these identities. But on Capitol Hill, these are fake people, okay? So, and I'll quickly follow up with this, which is the timeline. This is what I love so much about these timelines, is as different people think about these time frames, different events come in. Tulsi Gabbard resigns on I believe she resigns on February 28th. I'm writing through the camera, which is difficult. And so I believe that this investigation, the CDW phone orders for going to his house, that investigation, I believe she knew about that and had been briefed by February 28th. I believe that's what triggers her resigning as vice chairman. So we'll look at this. The Rayburn room, I have not identified where the Rayburn room is yet. If somebody in Congress wants to leak that to me, that'd be great. You probably saw the deep finance list of 20 Blackberries. I have no way of knowing if that's true or not. I just know that person's been right an awful lot before. And so we'll keep filling in the timeline as the timeline goes. I want to put this all in computer and make it look nice, but right now with the computer being down, that's just all I can do. Okay, so finally I'm going to say, okay, let's just say the U.S. Coast Guard, this is Kingstown, Virginia. Let's say the U.S. Coast Guard, especially this C4IT, is what I want to compromise. C3 is command and control and something else, I can't remember. C4 is yet another thing. It's the nerve center. That's what C4IT is. It's the nerve center. My job is to lure these guys out and then get them into a facility, into one of my houses, and film them with a young girl. That's how I compromise them. That's how I get their BlackBerry. I'm going to get their BlackBerry. The BlackBerry is what I want. That's what has the, sorry, with one hand here. That's what has the this CyberNet type information, right? That's how I know where ships are going. That's what I need, okay? There's this middle point in here. It's always going to be one of these churches or something where it's, if there's a whole bunch of these guys who come out here for a prayer school or whatever, that's good thing that they're seen as religious people, etc. And there's this church right down here. Now, I'm not saying New Life Church is the church that they're using every time. I'm just saying it's part of the model. But this is where you introduce the guys and the girls. This is where they get a chance to choose. Now, they don't even realize they're choosing it. There's an interceptor here that comes in and says, God really wants you to be with this 13-year-old. That's what's happening. Now, I don't think it's 5521 Nadia Aman's address where this is happening. I believe this is happening at 5522, the room next door. The electronics are in 5521. The room next door is the compromise room. Why? Because there's all this illegal activity, burglaries and so forth at 5522 Eiler. And those are usually covers for why stuff is missing, why people are coming and going, why there's investigations. You have to, if there's investigations where people complain, okay, and say they're running an operation here, you have to have reasons. Why are all these police around here at 5522? Well, there's robberies. There's been a robbery ring or something like that. Or why are these kids coming in and out with electronics all the time? I don't know, but 5522, the house next door, is also going to become important to the operation. Okay, so now the last thing is, Imran's going to the coast. Why is he going to the coast? Is he visiting his son at the coast? Is the Coast Guard flying him in the helicopter to the coast? Is that why he made a break for the coast after the John Wilkes phone booth? We'll get there. We'll get there. Remember, the son, this can be easily proven with DNA. Think how easily proven this, my thing I said yesterday about him fathering a child with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Think how easily that can be proved with DNA. Think of how he would want a rendezvous every once in a while to see his son. Think about where that might be. I'm not saying it's Ocean City, Maryland. I'm just saying he would have the wherewithal if he had friends in the Coast Guard to get there. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we'll leave it right there for right now. It's 10 minutes, and we'll pick it up more around Washington today.